Now excited to be joined by a very special guest. It is Kentucky's JJ Weaver. JJ, I've got a ton that I want to get to with you, including your work in a space that's very close to my heart. But first, I got to ask a question that a ton of people are wondering about just in college football as a whole. Um, can you explain the experience of defending Diego Pavia? Because I know you got a sack on him and you guys a lot of 20 points. It wasn't like he ran all over you. It was very different than what he did against Bama and the game plan itself. But it just seems like he is an incredibly frustrating guy for a defense to try and slow down.
No, most definitely. He's most definitely athletic and he's fast than what he looked like for sure. Um, he's a great guy, you know. We made a lot of mistakes tackling. We missed a lot of tackles on him. He's a physical short guy, so I give credit where credit due for sure.
What is it about his mobility that makes him different than other quarterbacks? Like, is it the toughness? Like, you see him coming
He's
out there.
short. Like
Yeah.
he's so tiny. Like he can like it's crazy. Like the Vanderbilt line is at least like 6'7" and up. So he's literally like trying to can't really see over the lineman. So his ability to see the receivers and looking through the big O lineman is amazing to be a short guy and fast and look he look thick about himself too. So
I have a theory that I'm 5'8". I think he's 5'8". Could
no, for
he's
sure. Yes, for sure.
okay, that's all I need to know. That's confirmation. I see the shots next to him on the line, like with the lineman. You're right. Like their line's really big, but he is so much shorter, and it kind of speaks to how good he's been so far. And I know obviously that was a frustrating ending for you guys. Let's talk about a happier memory for you. Describe the feeling of beating an Ole Miss team that in their house felt like they had everything working in their favor, number six in the country at the time, and a game that I didn't see anybody that was picking you guys to win, myself included.
We did a better job with tackling and Dark. We contained him more in the pocket. We did do a good job with that against Daria last week against Vanderbilt. So I say we were just more excited, you know. First away game, we took like a loss against Georgia that week that last week too. So we were just hungry about ourselves, you know, and that Bobby, we just let up about ourselves with Vanderbilt, but we were just excited. It was away game, tackling was way better. Top 10 team, you know, we took it to heart. So I would say that was an Ole Miss game. We were just when we wanted it more.
You held them to 1 of 10 on third down, and it just felt like they couldn't do anything that they usually had been doing in the first month of the season. They held the ball for like 20 minutes in that. What did you guys figure out about defending that Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss Jr. offense?
We just got to win the first and second downs. That's how good they are with they beat people with their fast pace, and we have to control it, and we did. We had to control the game all speed, so they couldn't get too fast paced a lot. So I'll say that just stopping the first and second down on them.
How did that compare to Louisville last year? I know you spent time there. You went to high school there. That's
Yeah.
got a special place in the hearts of many Kentucky fans. But what was the Ole Miss better than the Louisville win, or maybe not quite on par with that?
You know, it's crazy. You know, it's the best win, the Florida win, and back in 2020, was it 2020? Nah, 2021. 2021, Will first year when the UK stormed the field. We haven't beat Florida in like 34 years. That's the best wins I had, for sure. But
Yeah,
Louisville games always, you know, it's always competition, you know, the best in the state. That's what we always call it.
yeah, that game in 21. Yeah, it was first time that they had beaten that you guys had beaten Florida at home in,
Mm.
since the 80s and stuff like that. And I remember I think my brother and sister-in-law, I'm pretty sure they were there at that game, and like at his her mom was like crying with how emotional it was
Okay.
that night. I'm like, that's a hard thing to do in a regular season
No,
game in
for
this day and
sure.
age in college football. I want to dig into your background because I believe what you're doing is incredibly important on UK's campus and beyond. And I remember watching Lauren Sisler's piece on you a few years ago about how your teammates didn't even know that you had six fingers, and that was something that you talked about, like with the custom gloves and everything, and you went to local schools. You talked about, the importance of embracing your uniqueness and this message that you were trying to send as well. And you've also been a big time advocate for coping with grief after what you experienced in 2020. Could you explain to our listeners? I know you've talked about this on a variety of different platforms, but if you don't mind, can you explain to our listeners kind of how and why you started Perfect Fit Support Group?
Back in my sophomore year, my true freshman, I redshirted in 19. My father got murdered by four young teenagers, broke in his house and shot him and killed him. That was in 2020, like July 19th, July 19th. I can never miss that day. Right before camp, man. So, I was so dedicated then. Right after that, August 29th, I lost my head coach, Rob Reeder. He was my head high school football coach at Louisville Moore High School. Lost him, so I was just dealing with a lot right before the season. Losing my father, then losing my head coach like a father figure to me. So it was hard, coping with that was hard. And then through the year, I started as a sophomore. Florida, we played Florida this year at Florida. I tore my ACL ended my whole that whole year, and I was coping with losing my father, my coach, with playing football. So then now I tore my ACL, now I can't play football or anything like that. So I was really coping hard. It was hitting me hard because I couldn't play the thing I love, football, and I just lost two people that I really loved the most. So it was really hard. So I was coping hard. I was had a bad recovery with my ACL, so I was just going through a lot. And the coaches seen it, Coach Stoops, my trainers seen it. They're just seeing the effects had on me. Bad grades were dropping, wasn't going to class. I was depressed, not going to treatment, staying at home. So they was really caring for me, that's what I really love about Kentucky. That's why I really haven't left. I've been for 6 years. So they just loved me, Coach Stoops really set me down in his office one day. He lost his father his sophomore year of college, he told me how he coped with it. So I took his advice and he helped me get a therapist, and the therapist helped me a lot and made me want to help others, at University of Kentucky at the time and back in 2020, it was hard to find a therapist or find somebody to go help because COVID took over. So it was hard for me to cope. So now I want to do something. That's why I started a Perfect Good Grieving group because I want to be the voice.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point to bring up is being virtual when you're getting that support. It works for some people, it doesn't work for everybody, and that experience of being virtual with a therapist or something like that, as opposed to actually being in a room with people that have experienced something that you've experienced. It's a very very different feeling, and so to start this group at a place that obviously, look, Kentucky is there are tons and tons of resources that you guys have available at your disposal. But where did you see the need in helping people that are dealing with loss at that time? And what kind of got this thing off the ground to where you were able to actually get people that were dealing with loss in their own way?
It's crazy. It started in class. It was an assignment, my Dr. Brazil, Dr. B, I call her Dr. B. Shout out Dr. B, she helped me get all this started for sure. First it was an assignment, like just an assignment, and she looked at it, she sit me down like, hey, look, this is really nice. I lost my husband, my kids is young. She lost her husband and the kids is 3 and now they older now, so now they coping with it, asking for their dad. So she sat me down, we had a really big conversation and she helped me motivate, she helped me get to it. Kentucky Grieving Children's Center, she contacted me with them and we just started from there. And well, I started it last year with athletes first. I wanted to get to know my teammates and I didn't know a lot of my teammates. I didn't know a lot of the teammates lost a granny they really love, they dad, fighting for their life right now or some stuff like that. So I really didn't know a lot about my teammates. So I started with a teammate at first. trying to make sure my teammates is good. I know football is a lot to deal with, outside of football. So it's me is bigger than football. So I just want to make sure my teammates was good, make sure that I'm there for them like they was there for me. So that's what I started with football. Now is um, all students, all athletes, it's worldwide campus, the whole campus can come to it now.
It's great to know the resources are available. Because in my experience, my first real experience with death was the loss of my father to cancer when I was 27. And my immediate thought afterwards was, I don't know how I would have handled this when I was in college. I don't know how I would have handled this if I were 8, 9, 10 years old. And I'm an established adult and I'm still dealing with grief on a daily basis. And it's not a linear process. That's what I've learned. And so we were talking about this a little bit off air. I've been with a group called New Hope for Kids since 2018, and I felt this calling, kind of similar to the calling that you talk about, to just be able to have a group that does great work and as a grief facilitator dealing with kids that are dealing with loss. And I felt a calling to want to help out in any way. And I am by no means a grief expert or anything like that. One thing I've learned is everybody deals with grief in their own way. I don't know. I can't explain your grief. You probably couldn't explain my grief and anybody else's, but having those resources available is such an important thing to know at a time when so many people, a common denominator in grief is feeling alone and feeling like there's not anything available. How surprising has it been for you to see this response and to see how you feel like you can unite people in a way and in giving them that platform to be able to speak freely about issues that maybe they're sharing publicly or maybe they're not?
It's really an honor. It's really an honor for myself. I really felt the love now. I really feel like, okay, now this is really an issue that people really need to solve now, like with me. So I really appreciate the love. I'm really honored, but I'm a caring person. I want to make sure everybody else is great. I know what I went through. It hurted me so bad that I want to help make sure nobody else don't go through what I went through with grieving. So like you said, everybody else grieve differently. I want to make sure everybody understand grieving and make sure they okay from grieving.
How do you want to see this thing grow? What would be kind of the next step? You talk about like at first it's just like athletes. You want to
Yeah,
make
for
sure that your
sure.
teammates are good, like getting campus wide. Like how can it continue to be something that spreads and make sure that people are aware that there is this resources because you're right. Like the college age student, it's kind of the forgotten about. Like even New Hope for Kids, we do such tremendous work, and adults can come to the center and they can get the grief facilitating that they need as well while their kids are there, but it's kind of an 18 and under deal. And then college, you're kind of off on your own in your own world. Like how can you continue to expand what you're doing and make this even bigger than what it currently is?
Not too long ago, I went to Denver, and I went to Josie's house. Josie's house is a grieving a support grieving center. It's big. Any younger kids, adults can go there too. It created by a former quarterback. He's now a 49ers quarterback coach. I'm gonna get the name from Slats. I forgot his name, but I went there. I loved it. We went there for me and Dr. Bazil and Aim and Abby who helped me, Emily who helped me with the Perfect Fit grieving group. My therapist, she's a therapist that helped the Perfect Fit. Shout out to Emily too. But we went to Denver, Colorado for the grieving support for children, a big organization, a big event was happening. So, but I took a lot of notes, I took a lot, but here in Kentucky, the grievance group, they meet at churches, but I want to start a house like Josie's house. I want to have the perfect fit house, instead of people meeting at churches and stuff like that, they just can come to the house and get the help there.
Yeah, you're right. That's, an important thing because sometimes, people associate grief with what's your religious background, and grief doesn't know, denominations or anything like that. And I think that's a really important point to bring up and something to keep in mind. You're up for the Werfel Trophy. You've done such great things in that community, and you're going to continue to do great things in whatever community you end up at when you decide, ah, you know what, 6 years, that's a long time in Lexington. I should move on to the next thing. What do you want your what would be ideal for your next 10 years in life? Because I think you're going to have a platform to be able to do some great things.
In that 10 years, I'm be almost retired from the NFL. That's the goal. I want to go to the NFL and continue my football legacy for sure. But my outside of football, I want to just make sure everybody else like keep building this mental health. I'm big on mental health with grieving. I lost one of my best friends last year, so I like people sad to say people almost die every day. So I want to just make sure their loved ones is okay. At the end of the day, I want to make sure everybody else is okay with grieving. So I want to just keep building. I want to be worldwide, make sure everybody just okay for real.
Do you have a way that you get to honor your father before games?
I get I got like 4 or 5 cleats, custom cleats, with my father's face on it. With one of them got like me and my brother's face on it with him with the pictures on it. So I wear like custom cleats with him sometimes, and just I pray, make sure he's always listening, him and for sure.
JJ, this has been great. I want to get you out of here on some rapid fire, just 5 questions. First thing that comes to mind. Does that work for you?
Yes, most living.
All right, let's do it. First one, your favorite thing to do on a football field is what?
Dance.
That's good. I've never gotten that answer. I like
Yeah,
that.
dance.
Dance post sack, dance post
Yeah.
touchdown, just dance in general.
I just like dancing. I just love dancing. They be getting the opponent like, why you dancing? Because I'm about to kill you. You don't know what I'm about to do. I'm just dancing, having fun. You think I'm gig gag? I'm gonna take this serious. That's just I just dance.
Tougher to dance against the up tempo teams like Ole Miss. Not enough time in between snaps there.
Not for sure. But once we get a stop though, like I said, we gotta stop on first and second down. We was doing that, so I was dancing.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right. What's your favorite place to eat in Lexington and why is it Roosters?
Oh no, I don't know about Roosters, but I'll say um, um Mount Fuji
Fuji. Okay, where's that at?
is on campus. It's a hibachi spot.
Never turn down hibachi ever.
Ne-
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. Roosters is some of the best wings I've ever had, and I went there with your boy Cash Daniel actually back in the day in Lexington. Had a good time. Really enjoyed it. Okay, in your college career, which non-UK player has been the hardest guy to bring down?
Uh, Chris Rodriguez.
No, non-UK. That's I knew you're gonna go
Oh,
there. I knew you're gonna go there. How about
non-UK.
non-UK guy? Yeah.
Wait, say the question again.
So any non-Kentucky player, which non-Kentucky player during your college career has been the
Uh,
toughest to bring down?
I played a lot. Najee Harris. I
That's
played
a
against
good one.
Najee in 2020 for sure.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I got two
That's
TFLs on him though as a young sophomore for sure.
that's not an easy thing to do. That's a
Not
large
for
man.
sure.
Yeah. Okay, what's the loudest road stadium that you've played in?
South Carolina.
Good answer. Do you like the Gamecock noise that comes on and how often that is? Should they do that a little
There
bit less often?
you go. That's why I love dancing because when they do that, I'd be like, okay, this is kind of lit. I love this
You
for
dance to
sure.
Sandstorm, don't you?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. All right, last one for you. Last year you said after the Florida win that you knew from the game planning you guys did and watching film that you knew Florida wouldn't be ready for you. How do you feel about that this year?
I feel the same way. We just gotta keep studying game planning. They got a nice offense. They second string quarterback coming up. He's a great player. He's 6'4", 240. He's like a little A train, like Anthony Anderson. So it'd be a good game plan. We just gotta contain him in the pocket like we did Anthony Richardson back in 20 what 20 when we played him.
22. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's tough.
22.
Years blend
Yeah, for
together.
sure. like 22. So we just gotta contain the pocket and tackle, 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 tackle.
We'll circle back. We'll see if DJ Lagway ends up being the toughest guy to bring down in your college career. Big dude, very, very talented. But yeah, know that that's going to be a very, very fun one on Saturday. JJ, this has been awesome, man. Really appreciate the time. I wanted to have you on for a while to talk about what you're doing, and so I'm glad we got to do this. Best of luck with everything you've got going on and off the field, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.